Very good afternoon, Osho. Good to see you. Hope everybody's doing well. Hey, Osho. Good to see you. All right, let's get stuck into the session. We've got a few things to talk about, and we haven't got a lot of time before the US Open. Now, US stocks slipped last night as traders are digesting three things. Big tech earnings. Let me put my camera on. Sorry about that. Big tech earnings. We had big tech names last night. Meta was down 9% on concerns over heavy AI spending. We got Alphabet up 8-9% on strong cloud results, and Microsoft's down a couple of percent, just missing sort of pretty lofty expectations. So the main issue was the Federal Reserve meeting last night, and Powell said a December rate cut is not a done deal. And you can see this in the Stir market pricing. Look at that gap. See the spike higher? Just Powell saying, don't assume you're going to cut from December, right? And that has strengthened the dollar. So this morning had a nice trade. I'll just show you it. Just looking to get into this.
The BOJ's decision today is extremely reasonable and is taking into account overall current economic conditions. The Japanese finance minister.
Look at here, TPO, value area low, right? Strong dollar, expected that to continue, move back up to that value area low the previous day. And when I came to the European session, just took a sell off that 627 and then just rolled it down. First target was down here for a rough 3 to 1. And now I'm wondering if you can break down through this wider level. But that was the euro dollar trade that I was in. I also shorted the S&P 500 in my CFD account last night, just as Powell was saying December rate cut is not a done deal. And if you look at the move from last night, where is it? You can see here, got a nice, with those buyers were trapped here by sellers, and it just dropped down. Very nice little move. Now, there's a bit of a US, China and AI focus today. There's not much in terms of the calendar. There's only a 60% chance now, 72% on this, that the Fed is going to cut interest rates in December. So that's supporting the dollar, and it's just weighing on the stocks. But stocks didn't sell off really sharply, so I think tech names are probably more important. Got Apple and Amazon to report later today. So just bear that in mind. They're coming up after the close. ECB policy decision, pretty much as expected, unchanged. And the other thing to look at is Trump and Xi's meeting.
The Japanese finance minister says will not reaffirm their past comment that yen should be valued at 120 yen per dollar. Unclear on when this original comment was made, but just making you aware of this remark from the Japanese finance minister.
Yes, there is in the euro dollar. So with the euro dollar, a new point to enter, I would consider back off that 600 or the 619. What you can do as well, Osho, is if you go back up to that level, what you can do is put like a 4-point stop on. So say you get to 1600, just have a 4-point stop at 605. If you get stopped out, just re-enter at the 600. If you get stopped out, re-enter again, try it 3 times. That way you can get like a 4 or 5 point stop from a key turning point. Do you see what I mean?
The Japanese finance minister notes that if higher financial income tax is discussed, it will only be for extremely wealthy people.
That works well when there's a clear turning point and you're expecting markets to move. Rather than have like, a 50, 70 point stop on, just have a 4 or 5 point stop and just try it 3 times. That way you get 3 or 4 chance to get into it. And you're only risking 12 points. Makes sense, right? Obviously, it only works on highly liquid instruments. So euro dollar is ideal for that kind of outlook. Yeah. You can find like EAs that will enter for you as well, that can do that. So where are we now? Well, this is an interesting point. Now on the hourly, let's just zoom out and look at this. Doji spinning top from yesterday. The problem is we've got a lot of fair value gaps underneath. There's a lot of buying interest here. This is a broadly uptrend, so we are expecting buyers to come back in here at some stage. And you've got a decent fair value gap just here. So it's tricky. Sentiment is still focused on the tech earnings, and the tech earnings are okay, and the Fed is still due to cut rates. Yeah. So what I'd say with this, the thing to look for, let's just look at it again. A nice uptrend, right? Yeah, that's nice. So you will expect dip buyers at some point here, but the sentiment is definitely more negative on the Fed not wanting to cut interest rates so readily. So if you look at it on the hourly chart now, we can see this kind of indecision topping area, and just see the way that sellers came in the Globex Open, and they've just trapped buyers up to that level. So I don't mind selling at that level here. So anything from around the 6902, 6909, anything back up to this level, happy to sell. And then looking for a move lower. We are under the VWAP, holding around the second standard deviation. So point of control, 6908. That looks quite attractive to me. 6907, something like that, right? That's where I'm happy to sell from. Now that equates to this kind of region up here, just heading up towards that value area. So the risk for me has got to be above the 6933. So I'd anticipate markets staying underneath that 6933 today. That is my broad outlook, okay? So looking to sell rallies higher. Now the tricky thing is, what happens if we carry on going lower? Then I will look at that and consider it as we go, but I'm looking for a retracement to find sellers at the open. Right, on balance volume is lower, and then just looking for a pop up to this level. So consider entering anywhere from about 6904.50 will be the first position, because that is a retest of those buyers here trapped. And then the next one will be at the 6907 with those buyers being trapped. And that's what I'm going to be looking for. Yeah. Okay, folks. Also, we've been looking at euro dollar. There's a sell bias in the euro dollar just based on what happened last night with the Powell not rolling out December rate cut. So I was just selling it from this value area low this morning. Got a great entry, lovely little trade, but we can sort it again from the 600, the value area low from today. So just keep that in mind. Now, let's see what we've got in terms of price. Right, we're trying to keep on going lower, aren't we? Right. Powell ruling out a rate cut makes sense to see lower prices. Right, trying to go out of this value area. Thing is, you've got these low here. The owlies trap these sellers, so I want to sell from a retracement actually. I think it's risky. "28 seconds. Come up to a 5-minute close. Delta's negative. On balance volume is pointing lower. See, it wouldn't be unreasonable to go short here. Do you know, I'm going to try a tricky short here. Right, just based on the fact that the sellers here have trapped those buyers.
So it's now just 10 minutes until the ECB press conference with President Lagarde. As a reminder, the Governing Council did leave rates unchanged, and the accompanying statement was very much a copy and paste job from September. At the press conference, Lagarde will likely reiterate the bank's meeting by meeting and data dependent approach, and journalists are expected to press Lagarde about the possibility of a December rate cut. However, Lagarde is unlikely to get herself drawn into this debate at this stage. In terms of easing expectations for December, there are only just 1 basis point of a loosening priced. And looking further ahead into 2026, peak dovishness is around about the time of the September meeting, with 11 basis points of loosening. So that's under a 50% chance of a cut next year from the ECB.
Okay, so we've got this move going on. That kind of makes sense, that initial move lower. Got to be cautious of this. Still moving lower. Right, so I want to take an eye on where this is going to be. Alright, so there's a kind of value area low and a fair value gap there. The 840. We're breaking out through that level. Right, so then we're falling back down here. So this big fair value gap around here. Right. So we're falling towards that, aren't we? Got sharp selling. $15-minute sell, still going down on the 5. Right. Right, just looking at this in the tick chart. Okay, I think I'm going to take profit on this position. Right, I've taken profit on that position. That's just a great run lower. And, you know, you might get a little retracement there. That's a lovely little run. Just on that. Those sellers trapping the buyers and the way we went. Right, now let's see. See, what I'm nervous about here is a retracement at this level. You see, we're just coming into this kind of area to potentially have a little bounce. On the 15-minute here, got this large gap we're just falling into. So I'm just taking profit on that. See, we're coming to that value area low. So just taking profit as we've hit that value area low. And that's where I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bounce just here, you see. So I wanted to get out of that while I could.